Not just my critics that call it a revolt. My friends call it that, too.
So what do you call it?
I think that when our leadership couldn't hold the line on spending, they surrendered the ability to exclusively hold the floor. Right now, we are refusing to allow the failure theater to continue to play out.
That was on Morning in America here on NewsNation. The Congressman Matt Gaetz, one of 11 Republicans who revolted against Republican leadership and blocked the consideration of 4 bills. It seemingly came out of nowhere. But the deadlock now poses questions on the way forward for the House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and his side of the aisle. Joining us now is Emily Brooks, congressional reporter for The Hill. She's been reporting on this story and joins us with the latest. You see the headline there. So Emily, Matt Gaetz saying here on NewsNation that leadership couldn't hold the line on spending, so they can't hold the floor. He's referencing that debt ceiling vote that irked many conservatives in the House. Where do things stand right now, Emily, as you see it?
Well, right now, House leaders were forced to cancel votes for the rest of the week, and it's not clear what's going to happen next week. There is some legislative action scheduled for next week. They're going to try again on these measures that failed on the floor this week, as well as another messaging bill. But it's unclear whether these conservatives are planning to keep voting down these procedural rules and preventing House leaders from bringing any partisan action or messaging bills on the House floor. They're meeting with Speaker McCarthy in his office, going back and forth, but they're very mum on those negotiations. We do know that some of them think that Speaker McCarthy has gone back on some of his promises from back in January during his speaker's race. But of course, Speaker McCarthy is saying that is not the case, that he was always going to have to negotiate on this debt ceiling.
So, Emily, how long can this go on without one of those dozen or so, or maybe someone else, calling for Kevin McCarthy's job?
Well, how long this blockade can go on? Potentially a while. Right now, we're not seeing any indication or willingness from not only those 11 members who brought the floor to the halt to keep things going again, but also their allies in the House Freedom Caucus. House Freedom Caucus Chair Scott Perry said today, well, you know, the House messaging bills are not going to go anywhere in the Senate anyway, and if we're also keeping bad legislation from passing, then that's also good. So there's not a lot of willingness there to come to a quick resolution to this. And of course, if Speaker McCarthy cannot control the floor, that has big implications for his speakership, although there's not quite widespread calls for him to be removed yet.
Not just yet. We'll see where it goes. Emily Brooks from The Hill. Emily, thank you. Over to your colleague, Julia. What are you hearing? Where do things stand from your perspective?
I think there's a lot of concern about lack of trust. First of all, lack of trust in those 11 Freedom Caucus members, you know, what this means for their relationship going forward, working with those members. And as Emily just said, you know, a lack of trust and maybe McCarthy's ability to really control that caucus. Look, it seems like every few months, and, you know, the debt ceiling debate was only a few weeks ago, where he's struggling to really maintain control of his caucus. And I think there's concerns about what his leadership's going to look like.
Nick, real quick, you don't think McCarthy's job is at play, but you do think that this is a big deal.
It's a big deal because it can prevent legislation from moving forward, even legislation that Republicans like. In fact, I bumped into a congressman today in the airport, and I said, what are these folks going to do if you bring up, say, a bill to impeach Mayorkas? Are they going to stand in the way of that? I don't think it's a big deal for McCarthy because I think you have to replace something with something, right? I mean, sure, anybody can go to the floor and make the motion to vacate the chair, but who would take the job? I mean, if these five people can kick you out of your job, who would take it? Who might actually get more than a dozen votes? So it's not a Freedom Caucus thing, and I think that's important to note. These are 11 folks who are off on their own. The president of the Freedom Caucus didn't support this. The founding member, Jim Jordan, didn't support this. This is a rump group within the caucus, cannot operate without an 80% approval of the caucus. I know that because I wrote the rules. So this is a rump group within the Freedom Caucus. We need to stop talking at a Freedom Caucus uprising.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.